Hey everyone, I need to get this off my chest because I genuinely don't know if I'm losing my mind or if I'm finally seeing things clearly for the first time in years. I'm Sarah, 17, female, and this story is about the last Christmas I'll ever be forced to spend with my dad and stepmom. But to understand why this Christmas was the breaking point, I need to take you back to when this nightmare actually started. My parents separated when I was 7. Pretty standard divorce story. They tried to make it work, couldn't, and eventually went their separate ways. For a few years, it was just me, my 2 biological siblings, and our parents trying to navigate this new normal. My younger brother Jake is 14, and my older sister Emma is 19, but she moved out last year. Smart girl, honestly. When I was 11, my dad married my current stepmom, Diane. And look, I really tried to give her a chance. I know what you're thinking, evil stepmom stereotype, right? But I genuinely wanted this to work. My dad seemed happy, and at 11 years old, I just wanted my dad to be happy. But from the very beginning, there were signs. Small things at first. Diane was controlling about everything. When we stayed at their house, she had rules about everything. What we ate, when we could use our phones, how we arranged our rooms. I remember once she made me reorganize my entire dresser because she didn't like how I'd folded my clothes. I was 12. She also made these comments about my appearance, my weight, the way I dressed. Sarah, are you sure you want to wear that much makeup? Sarah, maybe you should skip seconds tonight. Sarah, that outfit is a bit revealing, don't you think? Never mean enough to cause a scene, but constant enough that I started second-guessing everything about myself. My siblings got it too. She'd comment on Jake's weight, on Emma's hobbies, on anything she could find. My dad? He never said a word, just nodded along like she was making perfect sense. But everything got exponentially worse when they had their son. My half-brother, let's call him Tyler, was born when I was 12, and from the moment that kid entered the world, the entire dynamic shifted. Suddenly, Diane wasn't just controlling, she was actively hostile toward us while simultaneously worshiping Tyler. Don't get me wrong, I don't blame Tyler. He's 8 years old now, and he's just a kid being raised by people who tell him he's better than everyone else. But the favoritism? It's been suffocating for the past 5 years. My mom tried to do something about it. Multiple times, actually. She went back to court, tried to talk to my dad, tried to reason with him, but every single time my dad would accuse her of lying, of trying to turn us against him, of being bitter about the divorce. And the court battles, they drained my mom financially and emotionally. I watched her cry after one particularly brutal court session where my dad's lawyer made her look like some vindictive ex-wife making up stories. After that, I told her I'd just deal with it until I turned 18. It was only a few more years, right? I could handle it. Except I couldn't. Not anymore. The thing about favoritism is that it's rarely one huge moment. It's 1,000 tiny cuts. It's Tyler getting a brand new gaming setup for his birthday, while Jake got a used basketball. It's Tyler throwing tantrums and being comforted while we expressed frustration and got punished. My dad became Diane's puppet. Anything she said, he agreed with. Any mole she made, he enforced. It's like he completely forgot he had 3 other children the moment Tyler was born. But I dealt with it. I kept my head down, did my chores, followed the ridiculous rules, and counted down the days until my 18th birthday when I could choose to never go back there ever again. That was my plan. Just survive until I could leave. But this Christmas, something inside me finally snapped. Christmas morning started like it always does at my dad's house. We all gathered in the living room, and my cousin David, who was visiting, offered to play Santa and hand out the presents from under the tree. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I'm not materialistic. I don't care about getting tons of expensive gifts. My mom doesn't have a lot of money, but she always makes Christmas special for us. I've never been the type of person to count presents or compare what I got to what someone else got. But what happened that morning wasn't about the presents themselves. It was about what those presents represented. David started handing out gifts, and I quickly noticed a pattern. Jake got 6 presents. I got 6 presents. Emma, who was home visiting, got 6 presents. Tyler got 20. 20 presents piled around him like he was sitting in the middle of his own personal toy store. Again, I didn't care about the number. What I cared about was what happened next. Tyler, this 8-year-old kid, starts literally dancing around the living room. Not just excited dancing. I'd have been fine with that. Kids get excited at Christmas. I get it. No, Tyler started specifically announcing to everyone how many more presents he had than the rest of us. I have 20 presents. That's way more than Sarah. That's way more than Jake. I have the most presents because I'm the best. He was taunting us. And here's the thing. He's 8. He learned this behavior from somewhere. Jake, who's 14 and has never been good at hiding his feelings, finally had enough. Tyler, stop bragging. It's rude. That's all he said. Stop bragging. It's rude. And my stepmom absolutely lost it on him. Jacob, how dare you be mean to your brother on Christmas morning? Apologize to Tyler right now. Jake just stared at her in disbelief. I wasn't being mean. He's literally dancing around, rubbing it in our faces. He's excited about Christmas. You're being jealous and nasty. Apologize now or you can go to your room. I watched Jake's face crumble. This kid who'd been trying so hard to be good, to not cause problems, to just get through the visit without drama, and he was being punished for having completely reasonable boundaries. I'm sorry, Tyler, Jake muttered, not meaning a word of it. Tyler smirked. Actually smirked, like he'd won something. I was furious, but I bit my tongue. Just get through the day, Sarah. Just get through it.
But it didn't end there. It never does with them. The next day, December 26th, more of Diane's family arrived for a second Christmas celebration. This is apparently a tradition in her family. Christmas Day with immediate family, December 26th with extended family. Diane's sister, let's call her Carol, arrived with gifts. She handed Jake, Emma, and me each a small present. Just little things, bath sets and candy, stuff like that. Nice, thoughtful gifts from an aunt we barely know. Tyler immediately noticed and started whining. "Where's my present? Don't I get a present?" Carol laughed. "Oh, honey, I didn't know you'd be here, but don't worry, I've got something for you in the car." She went out to her car and came back with a present for Tyler. He ripped it open right there. Another toy to add to his collection. Then Diane's other sister arrived. Let's call her Margaret. She came bearing gifts, and this time she'd apparently learned from Carol's mistake. She walked directly to Tyler and handed him a card. Tyler opened it in front of all of us. Inside was $50 in cash. $50. She didn't give us anything, not even a card, just handed Tyler $50 right in front of our faces. And Tyler waved the money around like a trophy. "Look, I got $50. That's so much money." Diane beamed at him. "That's wonderful, sweetie. You're so lucky." I felt Emma's hand grip my arm. She was furious, I could tell, but she didn't say anything. She was leaving to go back to college in a few days and didn't want to cause problems before she left. But Jake looked crushed. I saw him quietly get up and go to the basement where we were sleeping. I wanted to follow him, but I knew if I left, Diane would say something about me being rude to her family. So I stayed. I smiled. I played the good stepdaughter while my half-brother counted his money in front of us like some kind of miniature Scrooge. Later that evening, I just needed to escape. I grabbed a book I'd brought and curled up on the couch in the living room, trying to lose myself in someone else's story. Anywhere but here, you know? I'd been reading for maybe 20 minutes when Diane walked into the room. "Sarah, load the dishwasher." I looked up. "Okay, just let me finish this chapter." Her expression hardened. "Now, Sarah." The unspoken threat was clear. Diane had this thing where she'd take our phones if we didn't immediately comply with whatever she asked. Didn't matter if we were in the middle of something, didn't matter if we'd planned to do it in 5 minutes. If she said jump, we had to ask how high immediately, or there would be consequences. So I put down my book and went to the kitchen. I loaded the dishwasher in silence while Diane busied herself with something else. The tension in the air was thick, but I just kept my head down and did what I was told. That's when Tyler wandered into the kitchen. He had his wallet out, this little Spider-Man wallet my dad had bought him, and he was counting the money inside. The $50 from Margaret, plus some birthday money he'd gotten recently, plus whatever cash my dad regularly slipped him. "Sarah, look!" He shoved the wallet in my face. "I have $145. That's so much money." "That's great, Tyler," I said neutrally, not looking up from the dishwasher. But Tyler wasn't done. He never is. "My parents are rich, so now I'm rich too," he announced. Then he looked directly at me, this weird, smug expression on his face. "You will never be like me." Everything stopped. I felt the temperature drop in the room. The dish I was holding nearly slipped from my hands. "You will never be like me?" This 8-year-old child just said that to my face. I turned to look at Tyler, really look at him, and I saw exactly what he'd been taught to see himself as: superior to us, better than us, deserving of more than us. "Tyler," I said, keeping my voice calm but firm, "that's a really messed up thing to say. You need to be nice to people." I wasn't yelling, I wasn't being mean, I was doing what any older sibling should do, teaching a younger one that what he'd just said was inappropriate. But before Tyler could even respond, Diane whipped around from whatever she'd been doing. "Excuse me, don't you dare speak to him like that." I stared at her. He just said I'll never be like him. That was rude. He's 8 years old, Sarah. You're 17. You're too grown up to be bullying a little boy. Bullying. She called me correcting her son's genuinely offensive behavior bullying. And something inside me just broke. All the years of biting my tongue, all the years of watching my siblings get hurt, all the years of being told I was too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. All the years of watching my dad choose this woman and her son over us, over and over and over again. It all came crashing down. Bullying? My voice came out louder than I intended. I'm bullying him? Are you kidding me right now? Sarah, lower your voice. No. And then it all came pouring out. Every ounce of frustration, every moment of favoritism, every bit of hurt I'd been swallowing for 5 years. I am sick and tired of the blatant favoritism in this family. Tyler gets everything: more presents, more money, more attention, more forgiveness. He can say whatever he wants and gets defended. But if Jake or I say one word, we get punished. Diane's face went red. That is not true. Yes, it is. Tyler just told me I'll never be like him, and you're mad at me for telling him that was wrong. Jake told Tyler to stop bragging yesterday and got sent to his room. But Tyler can parade around the house comparing himself to us, and that's fine because he's excited. You don't understand. No, you don't understand. You treat us like garbage while treating Tyler like he's made of gold, and Dad just goes along with whatever you say. It's been 5 years of this, and I've tried to deal with it. I've tried to be patient, but I'm done. Tears were streaming down my face now, but I didn't care. I was so tired of holding it all in. I cannot wait to turn 18 and leave this hellhole forever. I'm counting down the days until I never have to come back here again. The silence that followed was deafening. Diane just stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Then, slowly, her eyes filled with tears. She started crying, these big, dramatic sobs like I'd physically attacked her instead of just finally telling the truth. How dare you, she choked out, after everything we've done for you. That's when I heard heavy footsteps coming from the garage. My dad appeared in the doorway, taking in the scene. Me, red-faced and shaking, Diane sobbing, Tyler looking confused and a little scared. What the hell is going on in here? Diane immediately turned to him. Sarah just attacked me. She's been so horrible and she said terrible things about Tyler. That's not what happened, I interrupted. Tyler said something incredibly rude to me, and when I told him to be nice, she called me a bully. And I just told her the truth about the favoritism. Favoritism? My dad's voice went cold. Sarah, that's enough. No, Dad, it's not enough. You need to hear this. I said enough. His voice boomed through the kitchen. Look at what you've done. Your stepmother is in tears because of you. Because I told the truth. You're being a selfish, spoiled brat. Diane has done nothing but try to make you feel welcome in this home, and this is how you repay her? By making her cry on the day after Christmas? I felt like I'd been slapped. Dad, please, just listen. No, Sarah, you're the one who needs to listen. You owe Diane an apology right now. I stared at my father, this man who was supposed to protect me, supposed to care about my feelings, supposed to notice when something was wrong, and he was defending her, like always. I'm not apologizing for telling the truth. Then go to your room, now. Gladly. I stormed down to the basement where Jake was already lying on the air mattress we shared during visits. Emma was on her phone, but she looked up when she heard me coming down the stairs. I heard yelling, she said carefully. I collapsed on the mattress next to Jake. I finally said something. Emma sat up. What did you say? So I told them, every word of the confrontation. And you know what? They weren't surprised. Emma hugged me. Jake gave me a fist bump. Good, Emma said firmly. Someone needed to say it. The rest of that visit was torture. My dad barely spoke to me, except to give me orders. Diane wouldn't even look at me. And Tyler seemed confused by the whole thing, which honestly just made me feel worse because he really is just a kid caught in the middle of their parents' terrible parenting. When it was finally time to go home, I practically ran to my mom's car. She could tell something was wrong immediately. How was it? Can we talk when we get home? She knew not to push. The 2-hour drive back to her place was mostly quiet, but I could see her glancing at me every few minutes, worry etched across her face. I waited a week before telling my mom what happened. I needed time to process it all, to figure out if I'd actually been in the wrong like my dad insisted. But after reading through countless online forums, after talking to Emma and Jake, after really thinking about the past 5 years, I realized something. I wasn't wrong. I was finally standing up for myself after years of accepting unacceptable treatment. When I finally sat my mom down and told her everything, not just the Christmas incident, but everything. Years of favoritism, years of Diane's comments about my appearance and weight, years of watching my dad choose Tyler over us. She was furious. Sarah, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because every time you tried to do something about it, Dad said you were lying. The courts didn't believe you. It cost us so much money and it hurt you so much, and I didn't want to put you through that again. My mom pulled me into a hug. Baby, protecting you is my job, not the other way around. She spent the next few days researching our options. She talked to lawyers, she read through our custody agreement, she looked into what rights I had as a 17-year-old. Then she came to me with a plan. I can petition for a custody modification, she explained. At your age, the court will heavily consider your preference. But I think before we do that, you should talk to your dad. Give him one chance to fix this. I wasn't sure I wanted to give him another chance. He'd had hundreds of chances to see what was happening. Why would this time be any different? But my mom pulled out this piece of paper. On it, she'd written, Option A, Dad and Diane acknowledge the problem and agree to family counseling. Option B, we modify custody so I only have to go when I choose to. Option C, I never go back, and when I turn 18, we all go no contact. Give him these options, my mom said. Let him know that his relationship with his children is on the line. If he chooses to ignore this again, at least you know you tried. This morning, I called my dad. My hands were shaking as I dialed his number, and I almost hung up twice before he answered. Hello? Dad, it's Sarah. We need to talk. There was a pause. If this is about Christmas, it is about Christmas, but it's about more than that. It's about the past 5 years. It's about how you and Diane treat me and Jake and Emma compared to how you treat Tyler. Sarah, we've been over this. No, Dad, we haven't. You've dismissed me every time I've tried to bring it up. But I'm not asking you to listen anymore. I'm telling you how it is, and you can either hear me or lose your children. Another pause. What are you talking about? So I told him. Everything. I told him about the years of Diane's comments about my body, my appearance, my personality. I told him about the different standards for Tyler versus us. I told him about Jake's broken expression when he got punished for calling out Tyler's bragging. I told him Tyler saying, "You'll never be like me," and how Diane defended that. I told him I was emotionally damaged from years of being treated like a second-class child in his home. Dad, I love you. I want a relationship with you, but the way things are now, I can't do this anymore. None of us can.
Sarah, you're being dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm setting boundaries. Here are your options. I read him the 3 options my mom had written down. We can go to family counseling together and work through this. We can modify custody so visits are on our terms. Or we can go no contact the minute I turn 18, and you'll lose all 3 of your children. The silence on the other end was long. Too long. Then he exploded. How dare you give me ultimatums? After everything I've done for you, after all the money I've spent on you, the roof I've put over your head, the food I've given you, this is how you repay me? Dad. You are not the daughter I raised. This is your mother's doing, isn't it? She's been poisoning you against me, turning you kids against Diane. Nobody poisoned me, Dad. I have eyes. I've been watching this happen for 5 years. You're being selfish and ungrateful. Diane has tried so hard with you kids, and you just can't appreciate her because you're too busy being jealous of Tyler? Every word was like a knife. This was the father who used to read me bedtime stories, who taught me to ride a bike, who told me I could be anything I wanted to be. And now he was calling me ungrateful because I dared to ask to be treated with basic respect. I guess we're going to court then, I said quietly. What? If you're not willing to even consider that there's a problem, then we're going to court. Mom's already filed the petition for custody modification. You can't do that. Actually, Dad, we can. I'm 17. The court will listen to what I want. And what I want is to not be forced to spend time in a home where I'm treated like garbage. He started cursing then, words I'd never heard him use before, especially not directed at me. He said I was destroying the family. He said I was being manipulated by my mother. He said I was breaking Diane's heart. He said everything except, "I'm sorry," or I'll do better, or I see how I've hurt you. When he finally ran out of steam, I said one last thing. I'm sorry you feel that way, Dad, but this is happening. You can choose to work with us, or you can choose to lose us. But you can't keep things the way they are and expect us to just accept it. Then I hung up. I collapsed on the couch and sobbed. Emma came and sat with me, not saying anything, just being there. My mom made me tea and rubbed my back. You did good, baby. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you did so good. The court date is scheduled for next month. My mom's lawyer says we have a strong case, especially with Jake and Emma both willing to testify about the environment in my dad's home. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe my dad will realize what he's about to lose and actually make changes. Maybe he'll just dig in deeper and we'll never have a relationship again. But here's what I do know. I'm not going to spend the rest of my teenage years feeling like I'm less important than a child who isn't even biologically related to me. I'm not going to watch my siblings suffer because our father can't see past his new family. And I'm definitely not going to apologize for finally standing up for myself. It's been 2 weeks since that phone call with my dad. I haven't heard from him directly, but apparently he's been telling his side of the family that I'm being difficult, that I'm refusing to visit, that my mom is turning me against him. Classic deflection. My aunt, my dad's sister, actually called me yesterday. I was nervous to answer because I figured she'd be calling to yell at me, but instead she said something that made me cry. Sarah, I've been watching this happen for years. I tried to talk to your dad about it, but he wouldn't listen to me. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. Apparently, I'm not the only one who's noticed the favoritism. My dad's own family has seen it. They've commented on it to him, and he's dismissed their concerns too. At least now I know I'm not crazy. The court date is in 3 weeks. I'm nervous, but I'm also ready. My mom's lawyer has been preparing me for what to expect. I'll probably have to talk to a guardian ad litem, which is basically someone appointed by the court to represent my best interests. I'll have to explain why I don't want to go to my dad's house anymore, and I'll have to do it in a way that doesn't sound like I'm just being a dramatic teenager. But the thing is, I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. Jake is doing better. Knowing that something is actually happening, that someone is finally taking our concerns seriously, has helped him a lot. He's still angry at Dad and Diane, but he's not carrying it all alone anymore. Emma has offered to come home from college for the court hearing to testify if needed. She's a legal adult, so her testimony might carry even more weight than mine. As for Tyler, I feel bad for him. He's going to grow up learning that his behavior at Christmas had these massive consequences. And that's not really fair to an 8-year-old. But hopefully maybe this will be a wake-up call for my dad and Diane to actually parent him properly instead of just telling him he's perfect. My mom has been amazing through all of this. She's not using this as an opportunity to badmouth my dad, even though she has every right to. She keeps reminding me that she wants what's best for me and my siblings, and if that means working toward a better relationship with Dad, she's supportive of that. But she's also made it very clear that she's not going to let us be mistreated anymore, which is exactly what we needed. I've been in therapy for the past 2 weeks, working through a lot of the damage from the past 5 years. My therapist says I've been experiencing a form of emotional neglect, and that it's completely valid for me to feel the way I do. It's weird having a professional tell you that your feelings are justified. For so long, I've been told I'm too sensitive, too dramatic, too difficult. But my therapist says that wanting to be treated fairly isn't dramatic. It's basic human dignity. We had a session this week where she asked me what I'd say to my dad if he was sitting in the room and there were no consequences. I thought about it for a long time, and then I said, I'd tell him that I miss him. I miss the dad he used to be, before Diane, before Tyler, before all of this. I miss feeling like I mattered to him.
And I'd ask him why Tyler gets to be his son, but I only get to be his obligation. My therapist nodded. Do you think you'll ever get to say that to him? I don't know. Maybe in court, maybe never. But at least I know what I want to say now. The hardest part of all of this is grieving the relationship I thought I had with my dad. I keep having these moments where I remember good times. Him teaching me to swim, taking me to father-daughter dances, helping me with math homework. And I have to remind myself that the dad who did those things isn't the same dad who chose Diane over me. People change, sometimes not for the better. I'm also working on forgiving myself for not speaking up sooner. My therapist says that self-preservation is a valid response to an unsafe situation, and that I did what I needed to do to survive those visits. But now, I'm not in survival mode anymore. I'm in recovery mode. My 18th birthday is in 7 months. 7 months until I'm legally an adult and can make all of my own decisions about who I see and when. 7 months until I have complete control over whether my dad is part of my life. Part of me hopes the court hearing will wake him up, that he'll see the testimonies from me, Jake, and Emma, and realize what he's done. That he'll choose to fix things, to go to counseling, to actually be a father to all of his children, not just the one who lives with him full time. But I'm also preparing for the possibility that he won't, that he'll double down, blame my mom, blame me, and continue the pattern that's already cost him so much. If that happens, I know what I need to do. It'll hurt. Oh God, it'll hurt so much. But I'll survive it because I've been surviving for 5 years already. The difference is now I'm not just surviving, I'm fighting for myself.
Some people have asked me if I regret blowing up at Diane on Christmas. The honest answer is no. I wish it hadn't happened in front of Tyler because he really doesn't deserve to be caught in the middle of this. But do I regret finally saying what I've been holding in for 5 years? Not even a little bit. That moment in the kitchen when I finally stopped biting my tongue and told the truth was the moment I took my power back. For 5 years, they controlled the narrative. They decided what was true and what wasn't. They decided what behavior was acceptable and what wasn't. But that Christmas, I decided. I decided that I wasn't going to accept being treated as less than. I decided that my voice mattered. I decided that I deserved better. And that decision changed everything. To anyone reading this who's in a similar situation, whether it's favoritism from a parent, mistreatment from a step-parent, or any situation where you're being made to feel less than, I want you to know something. Your feelings are valid, your experiences are real, and you deserve to be treated with respect and love, not because you've earned it through perfect behavior, but because you're a human being with inherent worth. It's not disrespectful to set boundaries. It's not ungrateful to expect fair treatment. And it's not selfish to prioritize your own well-being. I spent 5 years believing that if I just tried harder, if I was just more perfect, if I just didn't cause problems, everything would be okay. But the truth is, the problem was never me. The problem was a system that valued one child over 3 others, and parents who were willing to sacrifice their relationship with their older children to keep peace with the new spouse. I can't control what my dad does. I can't make him see what he's been doing to us. I can't force him to change or to choose us. But I can control what I do. I can choose to protect myself. I can choose to stand up for my siblings. I can choose to walk away from relationships that harm me, even if those relationships are with people who are supposed to love me. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So here's where things stand now. In 3 weeks, we'll go to court. A judge will hear our side of the story, my dad's side of the story, and hopefully make a ruling that prioritizes the well-being of the children involved.
In 7 months, I'll turn 18, and I'll have complete legal autonomy over my relationship with my father. And sometime between now and then, I'll figure out how to heal from 5 years of being made to feel like I didn't matter. It's not going to be easy. There will be hard days and setbacks and moments where I question everything, but I'm not alone anymore. I have my mom, my siblings, my therapist, and everyone who's reached out with support and validation. I also want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who told me I wasn't being dramatic, who validated my experiences, who gave me advice on how to move forward. This community has been incredible, and I honestly don't know if I would have had the courage to make that phone call to my dad without all of your support. Some of you suggested the ABC option framework that I used with my dad, and that structure really helped me feel like I was giving him a fair chance while still protecting myself. Even though he didn't take any of the options seriously, at least I know I tried. A few people have asked about Tyler and whether I think this will affect him. Honestly, I hope it does. Not because I want him to suffer, I really don't, but because he's being set up for failure by parents who are teaching him that he's better than other people. 8 years old is young enough that he can still unlearn these behaviors if my dad and Diane actually step up and parent him properly. But if they don't, he's gonna grow up to be an entitled adult who thinks the world owes him something, and that's not gonna serve him well. I hope that maybe, just maybe, the situation will be a wake-up call for all of them, that losing their relationship with 3 children will make them realize that their approach to family hasn't been working. But I'm not counting on it. What I am counting on is myself. My own strength, my own resilience, my own ability to build a life that doesn't include people who treat me poorly. That might sound sad, but it's actually empowering. For the first time in 5 years, I feel like I'm the one making decisions about my life instead of just reacting to decisions other people have made. I'll post an update after the court hearing. I don't know what the outcome will be, but whatever happens, I know I made the right choice in finally speaking up. To my younger self, the 12-year-old girl who met Diane for the first time and wanted so badly to be accepted, I'm sorry I didn't protect you sooner. I'm sorry I let them make you feel small. I'm sorry I didn't speak up when I first noticed something was wrong. But I'm speaking up now, and I'm not going to stop until we're safe. And to my dad, if you ever see this, I love you. I've always loved you. But love isn't enough anymore. Love without respect, without fairness, without consideration, isn't the kind of love that builds lasting relationships. I gave you options. I gave you a chance to fix this. What you do with that chance is up to you. But I'm done waiting for you to choose me. I'm choosing myself.